Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, and today I'll be doing a review on a piece of gear I've had just about all year here for 2021, and it has definitely became my favorite piece of gear for 2021. So what I have is a Hammock Gear Dyneema Tarp. I'm gonna go ahead and get it out, show you guys what comes with it, give you all the specs on it, and give you my thoughts on it. Okay, so from Hammock Gear, the tarp comes in this Dyneema stuff sack, and which is pretty nice just to protect it. I keep mine in my pack when it's not wet, but even if it's wet, I stuff it in the back of my Z-Packs bag, no big deal. So with the tarp, you get the stuff sack. There is a small patch kit that comes with it, and the tarp itself. So that's it. You're seeing it right now. I've got a snake skin on it, but that does not come with the tarp. But basically that's it, just the tarp, stuff sack, and a repair kit. So I'm going to get this set up between some trees here, show you guys my setup, and give you guys some more just information, details, my thoughts on it. To set it up, you will need some kind of ridge line, whether you use two separate pieces. I use a continuous ridge line from Dutch Gear or Dutch Wear, and 4 stakes. Those stakes also have to have the guy lines on them as well. So I'll get this thing set up and show you guys the tarp itself. All right, I've got it set up. I'll give you guys a good look around it. Just bear with me today. The sun is coming this way, so I'm gonna have to dodge that. And of course, as soon as you decide to set your tarp up, that's when it gets windy. So I'll take you guys in for a little bit closer look, explain how I set it up, what I use to set it up. Before I get into that, I guess I'll give you some specs on the tarp itself. It is a 12-foot tarp, 12 foot long by 9 foot wide. I went with the 12 foot. I have 11 foot dream hammock. I know with 11 foot hammock you can get away with 11 foot tarp, but I went ahead with the 12 foot just to give me that little bit of extra coverage, because I do not want to wake up wet. And this thing has done its job. That's why it's became my favorite piece of gear of the year. I've been in some pretty good downpours with this tarp and stayed completely dry. So for what that extra foot and length cost and weight, it couldn't even be an ounce. So the tarp itself, I do believe the camouflage version weighs a little more. I believe it's right under 7 ounces, and you can get white, and they used to make blue. I don't know if they do anymore, but I know you can get white, and that's right under 6 ounces. So it's about an ounce more if you want the camouflaged version as well. So I'll go ahead and get in and show you guys how I set this up with the structural ridge line, or the continuous ridge line, and what I use for guidelines. Okay, as well. So I use a continuous ridge line, which means my ridge line right here, it goes tree to tree, continuous, just what it says. Your tarp hooks to the ridge line. You can hook it up many different ways. A lot of people will use a pressing knot. That's the most common way. I did that for a while, until I came across these last year, and this little guy here is called a Dyneema claw. The use for these and the pressing knots himself is it makes it super easy when you hook your tarp up to the ridge line itself. You can basically just pinch that one way and then move it back, go to the other end, pull it that way, and it helps you center your tarp over the hammock itself. Once you get it centered, you just pull it tight and it locks in place. So these, you can get these at dyneemaclaw.com. I love mine. So that's the one way or the 2 ways I guess you can connect it to your ridge line. Like I said, pressing knot or Dyneema claw. There's a couple different options out there, different little gadgets like this, but I prefer these. On the tarp itself, they also have this little pull out right here on each side. You can actually take a guy line, pull it out, give yourself a little more room in there. I haven't done it. I've never really needed the extra room, but you know, if you do, it's there. I went with my guy lines for each corner. It's got 4 pull outs on each side, the tarp does. I went with the guy lines from Dutch Wear. Comes with a shock cord, and I've got it pulled really tight today because of the wind, but it's got what they call a little tarp worm on the end of it there, down to a stake in the ground. And you can just, if you need to adjust it, you can pull this little piece right here, pull it even tighter. I don't know that I can get mine tighter. I've got it super tight for the wind. But that system's worked for me. The tarp itself, like I said, it's made out of Dyneema, and one great thing about the Dyneema is it rains and it doesn't stay wet. Literally, you can wipe it off with a cloth or something and pack it back up and you're good to go. Your ridge line may be wet and your guy lines and stuff, but you know, it doesn't hold like a sil nylon tarp would. Also the weight, like I said, under 7 ounces. It's hard to beat that. I had a Chill Gorilla tarp that was the exact same dimensions as this one. I had that thing for 4 years, and it weighed 22 ounces, so it wasn't nearly as light as ultralight as this is, but a lot cheaper. That is the downside of the Dyneema stuff. This tarp runs you a little over 300. My Chill Gorilla was like 30. So I think you still get them on Amazon for about 35 or 40 now, but it's, you know, it's one of those gear upgrades that I waited for quite a while before I was ready to pull the trigger on it. But like I said, it's made by Hammock Gear, and I am a Hammock Gear fanboy. I love their stuff. I have their top quilt and under quilt, even the snakeskin right here. You can get these for or from Hammock Gear for your tarp, and it just makes it so much easier to pack away. I'll go ahead and put it in the snakeskin there as I put it up, and I'll show you guys what it looks like in that. All right, here's what it looks like in the snakeskin itself. It's just, like I said, a thin mesh that you can roll your tarp up in, and it keeps it all nice and neat. Just to roll up. So what I'll do to take this down, if I'm going to put it in my pack, I can take the Dyneema claw here and just loosen the tension on it. Let's see if I can do this one-handed, but I'll probably never be able to do this one-handed. There we go. So I'll take this little piece of zinget I got here tied onto the end of my tarp, just take it loose from my claw, and I can lay it on the ground, normally I'll roll it all the way up until I get up to here, take it off this side. And then, like I said, just roll that up, and I'll stuff that in the stuff sack it came in, and then you just got to take down the ridge line. And up here on the ridge line, so Dutch sells these pre-made. It's got a hook on one end, and then it's got this wasp on the other, and this is just a way to tighten it up with no knots. So if you guys are interested in this kind of continuous ridge line, just go to Dutch Wear Gear. They sell them pre-made. They're about 30 bucks, but it's got all these little titanium pieces to tighten it with. Does not come with an Dyneema claw, but like I said, dyneemaclaw.com, get you some of those. So with that, if you guys have any questions about the tarp, put them down in the comments. I'll leave a link to Hammock Gear in the description box. Hammock Gear, if you guys see this, love your stuff, and don't be afraid to contact me. I'm not sponsored, but I would take a sponsor. Come on. So that, we'll see you guys on the trail.